Hello everyone, this is Shawn from Ozark Family Homestead, and I've had several people request that I make another video on emergency preparedness. It's been a while since I've made a video, and there is a playlist of those videos on our channel. So wanted to talk about light. Ways of providing light if the electricity is out, if there's some sort of an emergency where conventional lights are not available. You know, it's the type of thing that we take for granted. We just flip on a light, turn on a light. You know, we've lived in a world throughout our entire lives where it's no big deal to have light. So let's talk about options that are out there that if there is no electricity, if there is some sort of an emergency, both short-term and long-term options for illuminating the area around you. So in this video, we're going to talk about battery-powered lights, various kinds, you know, conventional batteries versus rechargeable batteries. And we're also going to talk about kerosene lamps and, you know, pros and cons of each, and why both of them are something that really it'd be a good idea to have them available. So before we get to looking at these different items, just another comment. The reason that we want to have light is obvious as far as a safety issue, to be able to see things. But beyond the obvious physical reasons that we need light, there's also a psychological comfort to having light. People feel very vulnerable in darkness, especially complete darkness. Some people have a fear of the dark. It's a very common fear. And it's understandable. Obviously, you can't see what's around you. You can't tell of any type of dangers. And, you know, also you think if you're ever with someone in a dark room or outside when it's dark, typically it's someone that you're very comfortable with. I think no one would really want to be around a stranger or someone you're uncomfortable with in the dark, again, because of that vulnerability that we feel. So there's a psychological issue. If there is an emergency, if there is some sort of disaster, to have that light source available and dependable. And so just, you know, I just want to keep you safe, both physically and mentally. Okay, so I've got a variety of flashlights here on the table. So let's talk about these lights and, you know, maybe some pros and cons. Some of these lights that you already may be familiar with, others just might give you an option to think about. This right here is just kind of your standard flashlight that a lot of times we think about. You know, just a flashlight that just takes regular batteries. These types of flashlights have been around for decades. I know I grew up with these type of lights, you know, and they work pretty well. They're not as bright as some of your more modern, newer flashlights, but you can get them really cheap, and the batteries are you know, available for whether they're a group of AA batteries or C or D batteries. So, you know, the availability is there and they're very cost effective, but one of the downside is the batteries tend to go bad. What people end up doing a lot of times is they leave batteries in a flashlight that they don't use, and then the batteries go bad, they leak, can ruin the flashlight. Or even if you store batteries somewhere, regular batteries just don't last, you know, a long time, even in storage. So that's something to think about. This right here is a more modern type flashlight, and it has the LED that takes less energy. So with a flashlight like this, it's extremely bright. I can shine this, you know, like 100 yards and light something up with it. And having the LED instead of the conventional type of a bulb, it doesn't take a lot of energy, so the batteries last a long time. You know, you take a flashlight like this, the batteries don't last very long. They'll go dead, you know, after you use it for a while. These just don't use a lot of energy, so they're a lot more energy efficient. Now this one actually takes, it's got a bank of AA batteries in it. And we'll talk here in just a minute about some options related to regular batteries. This one right here, this type of flashlight the boys keep in their room by their bed. What I like about this one is it's rechargeable, and it recharges with a USB port. Now we're going to look at some different ways to recharge things here in a minute, but I really like this USB option because there's a lot of different types of chargers out there. You know, your cell phone uses this type of a connection, and it's really nice to be able to keep recharging that light off of something other than just changing batteries or plugging it in. Another option that's out there that some people like this, there's pros and cons to it. These are the types of lights that don't actually take a battery. So like on this one right here, it's a hand crank. So you've got this operating here with one hand because I'm using the camera here, but you see this folds out and you just crank this round and around, which charges up the light. And then another one that's kind of almost kind of a novelty is this one. You actually shake it back and forth and that actually charges it up. So of course with these you don't need batteries. The downside is anytime you get into these crank lights or these type of friction lights, they're just not going to be as bright as like one of these lights here. These lights are really, really bright, these modern type lights. So, you know, having a mix of different ones, but just keep in mind, if you're going with something like this, they're not going to be as bright. Now, something that we use quite a bit anytime the electricity goes out, first thing we always do is we get out these little battery-powered LED lanterns. They're really bright. They light up a room surprisingly well, and they just take 4 AA batteries. And again, being LED, they'll last a long time. They're real lightweight, real easy to use. They actually just compress down like that when you're not using them. They're safe, easy for the kids to use, and we have several of them. And what we'll do is, any room that we're in, we'll put them in a bathroom, beside your bed, things like that. So these little LED lanterns, I think, are really great to have. And unlike a propane lantern or something that the smell and the odor, these are quiet. They don't put out any emissions. And so we really use these quite a bit anytime that we have a power outage. Okay, so whether it be a flashlight or a battery-powered lantern, if you're using batteries and you think you may need to use these long-term, instead of just buying a whole bunch of batteries, trying to store them up, and which potentially could go bad, I would recommend you look into rechargeable batteries. These are just some Amazon rechargeable batteries. And this is a solar battery charger. So you can see on one side it's got a solar panel. You just leave this out in the sun all day. And here's another one. Here's what it looks like on the back side. You can see it's got a carrying handle. And it's got these little ports for AA batteries and for a 9-volt battery. 9-volt battery is a lot of smoke detectors use those. So if you got a rechargeable 9-volt battery, now these aren't just for regular batteries. You make sure it's a rechargeable battery. So I try to get as many things as I can in AA because I just try to keep quite a few of these rechargeable AA batteries around. And so if we get into a long-term situation where you need to go to battery power, we can start using these, these batteries in our lights. And then as those batteries start to go down, we can load this up, keep it out in the sun all day, and you recharge those batteries. So, this is an option that, well, a lot of people just use this already if they live off grid. This is just a normal part of their life. but having something like this available in case we get into a situation where the power's not going to come on in the immediate future, or you just choose to live off grid and just have the security of having that option available. Rechargeable batteries and a way to charge them with a solar panel, and this is just a really simple system here. This is a great option that you may want to consider. Let's talk about different ways to charge things, rechargeable items. Now here on the left, this is what they call a jump pack. Primarily, a jump pack is used to jump start vehicles. We use them to jump start the tractor or one of our vehicles if the battery goes dead. But a lot of your jump packs nowadays, in addition to being able to jump start a vehicle, they have ports on them, different types of places to plug things in, like a USB outlet, so you can recharge your cell phone or recharge like one of these flashlights that charges off of a USB. It also has the old, if you're my age or older, you call it a cigarette lighter plug, like used to be in vehicles. Anybody still have a vehicle with an old cigarette lighter, the old style cigarette lighter in it? But that type of a plug as well. Now I have a video on this. This was a sponsor. We've got from quite a few months ago, where I actually did a video on this particular solar charger. Now this is a power unit that you can plug it into the grid and charge it up really quickly, but also we have solar panels that you can connect to it, charge it up during the daytime with the panels, and you can even charge it off of a vehicle. So you can just, because it's solar, you can just keep using it, and you can see there's all kinds of plug-ins and USB ports, various things that you can recharge with it, and it even has a light on it that you could use. So just keeping this thing charged up, and this would light up a room and keep your cell phone and flashlights and things charged. So you can check out that video. We'll put a link to that video that I did. But having things like this available to keep recharging your flashlights, your lanterns, things that have rechargeable batteries or internal USB charging units in it. So just think about having something available that can keep things charged up. Now here's something that we got not too long ago. This is really neat. I'd say this is the neatest light that I have. It's by far the brightest light. It is unbelievable how bright this thing is, because it's got the LED technology, plus it is huge, got a lot of power behind it. If you're familiar with like what fire departments or police departments or even ships have, the extremely bright lights that can shine a long ways, it will go toe to toe with those type of lights. And it comes with different color lenses, the blue, the red, and the yellow, that you could use to not be noticed as much, or you could use it to signal to someone, like to a neighbor. You could come up with hey, red means danger, or blue means it's safe, or whatever. And what's neat about this particular light, and by the way, it charges up using a USB port. But in addition to using USB to charge it, which you could do off the grid if you wanted to, or off of one of those solar units, what's really neat about this thing, on the back of it, is a solar panel. Now I've got the protective plastic coating on it right now, so I've never actually had to charge it, but I would take this off, and that is a big solar panel. So you could lay this thing out during the daytime, it'll charge itself back up with the solar panel, and then at night you can use it. And not only is it a big bright light here, but it's got a smaller light on the side, so you wouldn't have to use all that light. And you've got a little port here where this unit will actually then charge other things. So you could take a smaller flashlight or your cell phone and leave this out all day, charge it up, and then plug in your cell phone or something else that takes USB and use this as a power unit. So really, really neat. So it's just like a little miniature power unit, as well as a super bright light. This is, you can see that's a practical survival high intensity searchlight. This is really neat option that's out there that I'm really glad that we have. This is just another thing, another tool in the toolbox, another option that we have out there for both light and power. Now here's some other options that are out there. This is an old glow stick. You might use those like kids are trick-or-treating or just using them out for camping and things like that. That's the sticks that you bend them and they snap, and then the liquid mixes together and causes a light. They'll burn. This one burns for 12 hours. You can get them in different colors, but these are especially good to have in your vehicle, because remember, it's not just in your home. When you're traveling, do you have a flashlight in your vehicle as well? We've got a video about the go bags. This is something that's really neat, especially in the house, because you can put them in different rooms. These are called puck lights, and they're LED, and they take the small batteries that, again, you can get the rechargeable batteries for them, and you can just push on them, turn them on. They have different colors, and there's even a remote control with it, which is neat. And you can see how you can actually change the colors with it. So, can be party lights, can be for fun, but you could also use them in an emergency situation in different rooms. And again, just small, compact. Not much to them. So that's an option that's out there as well. Something that we use every night when we're putting up the animals and checking on everything are these rechargeable headlamps. These are really, really handy. They charge using the USB ports. We always keep quite a few of them on hand. And the nice thing about these headlamps is keeps your hands free, so you can work, you can do things. And these also change colors, so it's not just, it's got different brightness levels. Beams directional beams for long distance, and then kind of a flood beam for close up, and it also has a red light, so it's a little bit more discreet, and also keeps the bugs from getting all over you. So we use these headlamps that are rechargeable all the time, and I highly recommend having headlamps, and could even be something you might consider keeping in your vehicle as well. Now you may be saying to yourself, my grandparents, they didn't have all these fancy rechargeable lights and LED lights and solar units, and they made it just fine, and they had the ability to have light at night, because back in your grandparents' days, they had kerosene lanterns, and these are still available. And they can be purchased very cheaply. And matter of fact, I'm going to break down some costs here in a bit. So let's talk about kerosene lanterns, kerosene lights, and you'd be surprised just how long these will last. Okay, so here are some kerosene lanterns, kerosene lamps. Now this is a small one. We have larger ones than this in our house, and Janice uses them more for decorative reasons, but they work. We have actual lamps, bigger lamps in the house. I didn't want to carry one out here, and the reason is, I wouldn't want to drop it if they're made out of glass, so this is a smaller one that we kind of keep in our emergency supplies. We keep a few of these as well. But you might want to have the lamps like that. You might already own some, and they'll provide light as well. That's what people used for a long time. But in a survival situation, I really would recommend the lantern type, because they're more durable. If they're far less likely to break if they fell over, and they're designed, you can carry them outside in the wind and things, and with that handle. And so this is just a much more practical option in an emergency situation than these pretty ones that you just keep in your house. But these still function. Now, if you're going to have kerosene lamps, which I think is a good option, always make sure you have plenty of lamp oil. This is just kind of a standard 32 ounce bottle of lamp oil, and you'd keep extra wicks, and obviously you need matches to light it. Now I looked it up, and on average you can get about 180 hours out of one of these standard 32-ounce bottles of lamp oil. Now that would break down, if you used your lamp 3 hours per night, it lasts for 2 months. So 2 months of 3 hours per night. So in other words, 6 of these bottles would give you 1 year worth of light if you ran your 3 hours per lamp. So you can just kind of do the math from there. So you can get quite a bit of time out of lamp oil. And your grandparents, this is what they used for light, and these things are still available. They're very cheap, and I'm going to go over some numbers with you on just how cheap this option is. Okay, so inspired by Janice, she always likes to run the numbers, break down costs. I looked at both on Amazon as well as Walmart's website, and both came out about this pretty close to the same price. And basically, if you were to buy 2 of these lamps, these lanterns, 6 bottles of lamp oil, an extra thing of wicks, and a big box of matches, which would give you a year's worth of light in 2 different lights there, you can get those for about $130. $130 for a year's worth of light. That's a pretty good investment for a just-in-case emergency situation. And there's a lot of different sizes, a lot of different types that are out there, but they're readily available. I mean, you look at any of your sporting goods stores, or again, Walmart, Amazon. There's all kinds of places you can pick up these lanterns pretty cheap, and lamp oil is also usually pretty plentiful as well. So again, $130 for a year's worth of light is a really good deal, and I think it's something you should seriously consider as a just-in-case option. Well, I hope I gave you some things to think about, some different options that are out there. I really believe in redundancy, having more than one option available to you. I like having various battery powered things, rechargeable things, kerosene powered lights. I don't want you to see this video as fear mongering or trying to scare you. It's actually just the opposite. If you're prepared for an emergency, then there's not as much need to worry. You're not going to find yourself panicking if the lights go out and it ends up being, a long-term situation. Knowing, okay, I'm ready for this. I've already made some preparations. I already have things on hand to assist me. I'm going to be okay. And with what we're talking about in today's video, I'll have light. I'm not going to be in the dark. And we don't want to live in darkness. We want to live in light. And I just want you to be safe, and I want you to have the comfort of knowing that in a worst case scenario, you're going to be okay. I hope you enjoyed the video. I want you to share in the comments your ideas when it comes to sources of light. What do you use? Any of you use kerosene lanterns? Do you use rechargeable, battery powered? You keeping different types of lights, in the house, in your vehicle? So share your ideas. We all can come up with things that work well for us. So I want to hear your ideas, and I want to see conversations about them. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and check to see that you're subscribed. We always have people saying that they've been mysteriously unsubscribed, so please check on that for us. And we appreciate you very much, and I appreciate you checking out my latest video. Stay safe, and goodbye.
Thanks for watching Ozark Family Homestead.